Hey, this is a video about EFT, also known as Emotional Freedom Technique. Great technique. I've used it for years, both personally and with my clients, to help clear any emotional discomfort or obsessive thinking or a belief system that you no longer need, just any kind of thinking or feeling that you want to clear. This is a great technique. It's super easy to learn. It's fast to use. It's amazingly fast how quickly something can be cleared. And although it is very quirky, and you will see that, there is good research behind it. I've set up a link in the notes so that you can explore that if you're a left-brained, science-based person. I would use EFT for, again, as I mentioned, any kind of emotional discomfort. So let's say you're feeling angry or frustrated or sad or guilty, or you have some kind of belief system about not being good enough, or you're trying to clear a habit. As an example, let's say you overeat in the evenings and you find yourself in the pantry secretly taking food in, so you can use it for almost anything across the board. Let's talk about how you do it. There's 4 parts to EFT, and we'll take each part one step at a time. Before we step into the 4 steps, though, I want you to identify how intense the discomfort that you have is at this point on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being as intense as it gets. Okay, do that first, and that gives a subjective scale to how much change has happened as you go through the process. Part 1 of EFT is called the setup. And if you use your notes and follow along with the outline, you'll see that the setup statement goes like this. Even though I have blank, I deeply and completely accept, love, forgive, respect, trust myself. And I'll explain each part of that. So even though I have blank, the blank is the feeling that you're having. So even though I have this anger, even though I feel frustrated, even though I have this guilt about not being there for my daughter, even though I have this feeling, even though I have this feeling of discomfort, even though I have this feeling that I'm not good enough. I hope you get the drift with that. You can fill that blank in with whatever you identify as the feeling being. And to be clear, if you can't really tell, is it anger, frustration, whatever it is, just say this feeling. That's okay. Then, when we get to the end of the statement, so even though I have this feeling of discomfort, I deeply and completely accept or forgive or love, etc., you choose what intuitively you feel you need right now. Okay? Do you need to accept yourself? Do you need to respect yourself? Do you need love or trust or forgiveness? You choose. Let it be an intuitive feeling for you. And what I would suggest is choose 1 or 2, preferably not more than that, because you don't want you're going to repeat this statement and you don't want it to be so long that it takes you too long, number 1, or that you forget it. Okay, so choose 1 or 2. Let's go through the process. I'm going to say, even though I have this feeling of discomfort, I deeply and completely respect and trust myself. And I'm going to rate my feeling of discomfort on a scale of 8 out of 10. So even though I have this feeling of discomfort, I deeply and completely respect and trust myself. And now I'm going to say that you're going to say when you're working it, and I'm going to say now as an example, the setup statement while we rub the sore spot. Okay, now the sore spot is anywhere on the quadrant of the chest, either side, and it's a spot somewhere between the ribs. It's not a single spot. There could be many, and you're going to find a place that is a little bit tender, and you're going to rub that while you say the setup statement 3 times. So even though I have this feeling of discomfort, I deeply and completely respect and trust myself. Even though I have this feeling of discomfort, I deeply and completely respect and trust myself. Even though I have this feeling of discomfort, I deeply and completely respect and trust myself. Okay, that's part one. Part two is a tapping procedure, and I'm going to walk you through the steps. And again, you'll see in the outline what those places are that you tap. So you're going to use 2 fingers I use my dominant hand. I would suggest that's probably what you'll use, but feel free either side of the body, either hand. Use 2 hands. You're going to tap hard enough to feel it, but not so hard that it hurts in any way. The first spot is at the end of the eyebrow closest to the nose, and again, you can use either side. So, feeling of discomfort. I'm going to say, you can say what you're working on, or you can just be silent. Feeling of discomfort, feeling of discomfort, feeling of discomfort. So we've gone end of eyebrow, corner of the eye, around, right on the bone, below the eye, on the bone, below the nose, feeling of discomfort. Below the the bottom lip on the chin, feeling of discomfort. Center of chest, feeling of discomfort. Circle around the center, feeling of discomfort. Under the arm in alignment with the bra strap or the nipple, feeling of discomfort. Then we go to the hand. We're going to work at the base of the nail on the side of each finger that we do. So at the thumb, at the base of the nail, side of the thumb, feeling of discomfort. First finger, feeling of discomfort. Middle finger, feeling of discomfort. We skip the ring finger and go to the baby finger, feeling of discomfort. And then the karate chop is the fleshy part of the hand on the outside, feeling of discomfort. There you go. That's the second part. The good news is the fourth part is exactly the same, so we're just going to repeat it. But the third part is the gamut procedure. So how this works is make a fist. The top of the hand is towards the ceiling, and we're going to tap between the knuckles of the baby finger and the ring finger. There's a little indentation there. We're going to tap there the whole time while we're going to hold our head straight forward. Eyes are closed, eyes open, eyes down hard right. Don't move your head, just your eyes. Down hard left. Circle one way, again, just your eyes. Circle the other way. And then we're going to hum 1 bar of Happy Birthday out loud. And then count to 5 out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hum Happy Birthday again. Now, it doesn't have to be Happy Birthday, but we use that because it's something that just about everybody knows. If you have some other bars, short bar you want to hum, you can do that, okay? The idea of the gamut procedure that we just did is to align the 2 hemispheres of the brain. We're going to go to the fourth part, which is again the tapping. So, end of the eyebrow closest to the nose, feeling of discomfort. Corner of the eye, feeling of discomfort. Below the eye, feeling of discomfort. And remember that you are tapping on the bone in all cases around the eye. Feeling of discomfort, you're below the nose. Chin, feeling of discomfort. Center of chest, feeling of discomfort. Circle around the center, feeling of discomfort. Under the arm, feeling of discomfort. Thumb, feeling of discomfort. First finger, feeling of discomfort. Middle finger, feeling of discomfort. Baby finger, feeling of discomfort. Karate chop, feeling of discomfort. That's it. That's the 4 parts. Now what I want you to do is check in with where you are on that scale of intensity. I've never done this myself or with a client where there hasn't been a drop in intensity. The drop may be maybe 2 points. You go from an 8 to a 6, or it could be lower to a 4. It could be that it's low enough that you can't even think about your discomfort anymore. That's what you're aiming for. You're aiming to get to that calm place where there's no real feeling of discomfort left. That's ideal. Now, it is possible that you'll get down a couple points or, as I mentioned, from 8 to 4, but there's something underneath it. So you want to tap on that one as well. So let's say underneath the feeling of discomfort is sadness, and you can actually feel it. You identify the sadness. And so now you're going to go through the same round. Even though I have this sadness, I deeply and completely accept and love myself, or it could be one of the others: respect, forgive, trust, etc. Okay, so you choose what intuitively speaks to you. So now you tap on the sadness, go through the round of doing that, and then you check in and see if you have lowered down to that point where there's a calm, that where you really cannot think about the discomfort, in this case, the sadness anymore, and then you've cleared it. You might need to tap 2 or 3 times, 4 at most. I've really never seen more than 4 rounds of tapping. And if you consider that once you learn this process, it's really just 2 minutes for a round, then in 10 minutes, 15 at most, you can clear a lot, and come back to a place of calm and comfort. You know, people often say when they've cleared something in that moment, when we're working together, they say, oh, that I can't think about it anymore. But won't it happen again? Won't I feel this again? Yes, you will. We repeat our emotional patterns over and over again. And the more we've repeated them, the more times it's happened, the stronger the emotional memory of it is. Gary Craig, who I got the training from originally, he spoke about our emotional patterns as being like a forest filled with trees. And all the thousands of times that we've experienced the same emotion has created a tree each time. So we now have a forest filled with thousands of trees. When you do a clearing, whether it's using EFT or some other technique that you have in your toolbox or you'll learn in this program, whenever you do a clearing, you knock down a tree. And when you knock down one of the trees, you knock down a whole bunch of them. It's like in the forest, a tree falls, doesn't miss all the trees, it knocks a whole bunch others down. So every time you clear, you're knocking a bunch of trees down, which means you don't have to clear this thousands of times. You just have to clear it enough times to get to the root and to kind of just let it out of your body, to fully release it, fully express it, so it's no longer holding power in your tissues, in your cells. Okay, so know that every time you clear, you will be moving yourself forward in a big way. Give it a try. Try it on everything that you can possibly try it on. Do it either in the moment that you're experiencing the discomfort, or come to it as soon as you can when you're in your own private space. So if you experience something, let's say at work, come to it later in the evening when you can be alone and you feel safe. Go for it to clear it at that point. Okay? Have fun.